Welcome to the first devlog of My Last Shelter. My Last Shelter is a survival management game where you organize survivors fighting a post-apocalyptic winter setting. To do that, you need to give them orders and will lead them through events which are noted down by a loyal diary. As you can see, not all events are fully implemented yet, but some may already change your resource or might give you the option to hire new survivors. To hire new survivors, of course, you will need a new bed. Building beds is currently the only upgrade you can do to the shelter. Of course, there will be more in the future. And the fact that we built the bed right now is actually a little bit hidden because the UI doesn't represent it yet. But as we can see, we hired a new survivor. While our bird friend is welcoming the new morning, we check on our survivors. The health is dropping because our survivor isn't eating anything yet. But that's not a problem we care about right now. In the final game, it will be essential to manage such problems. Managing your survivors and the given events, basically like in a visual novel, is one important part of the game. You can see some of those events right now at the top in the developer menu, which is of course only there for me to test the game. Let us make a jump and go to another important part of the game. Let me also use this moment to ask you for your support and feedback. Maybe consider following my social media, leave a comment below the video, or subscribe to the newsletter for more information. If you really like the project and would like to help with the development, please also consider supporting me on Patreon. Now we will come to the combat. At first the combat was really a minor part of the game, but by now it became more and more important and is currently under heavy development. Here you can see Emily on the left. She has two enemies, Shroomhead and Frostpla. In the fight, the combatants use cards, but they also have dice to support their offensive and defensive actions. Emily's and Shroomhead's offensive and defensive dice currently have the same value, but Emily also has a base strength of 2. And with that, she was able to deal 2 damage to the Shroomhead. Now, she's sadly out of energy. The energy is currently decided by the white dice, something that will change in the development process. Let's go to the next turn. Now we see Frostpla on the right. Sadly, we can't see Shroomhead because he has no animated fighter yet. Of course, the game will need a lot of art and animation in the future, but for now, we are happy to have Frostpla and will stick with him. At least it's also his turn. Therefore, he should be doing something, but there is a little bug. Maybe it's related to the problem that he has only 1 energy. His cards could just be too expensive. Shroomhead, on the other hand, dealt 7 damage to Emily, which we can see in her health, being 121 from 128 full HP. The UI is still under heavy development, and we will need more animations to make it clear that Emily got hurt. But for now, let's go to the next turn. This time we have a basic attack and a defense nerf. Let's combine it. We have an offensive dice value of 4 and a defensive dice value of 2 on Shroomhead. So we choose him and use a defense nerf. That was sadly a strategic failure, because now we don't have any energy to attack. And even if we had energy, the enemy activated his second defensive dice, because the first was destroyed. In the next turn we can see that the enemy dealt us quite some damage again, but we have 2 attacks, 6 energy and at least a little bit of offense. So maybe we can deal some damage back. We probably have a good chance if we go for Frostpla, who has just 1 defense, while Shroomhead currently has a dice with 5 defense. We might also want to nerf some damage. At least this way we have a good chance to win the fight in the long run, because now Shroomhead will deal 2 damage less in his next attack. Sadly, we only have the basic attacks implemented right now. Therefore, a fight could take quite a while, especially with Emily, who is not really a character made for fighting. We could already use multiple survivors in our fight, just like the enemy has multiple characters. But sadly, Emily is the only survivor in our group. So, for now, let's use the time and look ahead. As I already mentioned, at first the combat wasn't meant to be a major part of the game. I developed the base idea for the game in a game jam, and there it was meant to be a survival game. It was meant to be a resource management game, and everything was focused on getting resources to survive the winter. Right now we still have the same goal, but I think that the combat can be an additional interesting factor and will challenge you while you try to survive the harsh conditions of this post-apocalyptic winter. I think that the combat should actually even help you to survive, because you can loot enemy characters, like animals especially, but you could also get items, experience to improve your characters and their survivability in the winter conditions. I like that with the combat, luck and strategy become an important part of the game. You can combine your skill with the right cards and with the right characters, while also handling the luck that is coming with the dice. The dice themselves are also not only luck based, but they will change depending on your characters and can be manipulated depending on the characters and their abilities. This is also a major opportunity to turn my game into a roguelike, to have characters and experience artifacts which you discover on a journey that you can reuse in your next journey and that you can unlock. So we have a wider variety and we'll have various characters and items that are useful or less useful in different situations. Let's come back to the combat, as some of you might simply stay to see how Emily does. Right now, she is still facing 2 enemies. Frespler has only 1 HP though. Sadly, Poke won't hurt him. It's supposed to take a dice, but currently it's not doing that either. If we want to win that fight, we should certainly get rid of Frespler because it's still doing full damage despite only having 1 HP. Sadly, we are not too lucky with the cards right now, at least for combat. We have no attacks. We have 2 heals, which might help us outside of the combat because we would keep our HP after the combat. But right now, we got an attack and can kill the Frespler. It's written there that a direwolf died, but that's just a debug error because the name of the monster is not given to the UI there. So, we only have Emily and the Shroomhead left, but we still don't have any damage, and he actually has more HP than Emily. Despite our good start, we have to realize that this combat could be our end. And while testing, I realized that even characters who are not made for fighting, like Emily, should have more offensive abilities, or at least some kind of panic button. Therefore, I would like to implement a card that everyone can use to attack which will cost their own HP as well. With Emily being down to 1 HP and no real options left, her end is probably close. And therefore we also come to the end of this devlog. Emily died. At least she did so in combat. Currently she is still a survivor, and the game goes on. In the final version, of course, her death in combat would also mean her death as a survivor, and the death of the last survivor would mean that we lost the game. But well, right now, as we are just developing it, we still have a chance.